Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. I'm Shaquat, and I'm back here with another lesson. Lord willing is edifying to the hopeful elect. Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakathum to you sincere Akyam, Wa'akwathyum, and a sincere shalom to you brothers out here pushing the truth out on the highways and the byways and through the YouTube lessons, man. Shalom unto you all. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying and exhorting to the hopeful elect. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get into it. And you see by the title, we'll go over here. The mighty men of this world, especially being Babylon the Great, will mourn. And in parentheses, they will be feminized. All right, they will be feminized. All right, we got a plethora of scriptures here I want to get into. Going into this, goes into this topic, back to the point. All right, so and I want to start with Google search. So I have this one. I'm going to come back to this. So let's go here first. So to be feminized, what does it mean to be feminized? To be feminized means to adopt or be induced to adopt feminine characteristics, roles, or appearances. It typically refers to changing from a masculine or neutral state to a feminine one, encompassing physical changes through hormones, surgery for aesthetic changes in clothing, makeup, or behavioral shifts, which is basically what this is talking about, a behavioral shift towards traditional femininity. All right, so there you go. That's what it means to be feminized. All right, feminization is about transforming a person's appearance, behavior, which is what we're going into, or role to be perceived, that too, as more feminine or to align with the feminine identity, 100%. All right, minus all the T word stuff, all right? So let's read this top part again. To be feminized means to adopt or be induced to adopt feminine characteristics, roles, or appearances. And if you are not a man of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, sorry to break it to you, hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I really don't hate it, but you are not a masculine man. I don't care if you're John Bones Jones or Prime Mike Tyson or Prime George Foreman. You are feminine. You are not masculine. You are not truly masculine and truly a man until you come into this truth. And I mean the real 100% truth, not those Israelites that go off, like the IUIC, ISUBK, the ones that aren't even stemming from One West, etc. All right, you are not truly a man, a real masculine man, until you come into this truth. All right, and that's just 100% facts. All right, so I also looked up something else concerning what we're about to get into in Jeremiah 30. I said, is being weak and feeble, all right, which is what the scriptures say these mighty men and the men of the world are going to be as in the times that we're coming into. I said, is being weak and feeble a masculine trait? No. Being weak and feeble is not considered a masculine trait. In fact, traditional and contemporary views of masculinity almost universally define it by the opposite trait, such as strength, fortitude, and resilience. All right, masculine ideals. Masculinity is typically associated with physical, mental, and emotional strength, Definition of weakness. Weakness is defined as a lack of strength or power, which we won't be lacking in that day. We are going to be the true mighty men of that day, given Isaiah 33:6, Isaiah 32:2, Isaiah 13:12. We will be the true mighty men in that day, Isaiah 65:13, because the Lord will provide for us at the end of the day. All right? So we won't be lacking, but you all will. And even in death, we still won't lack. Which is often viewed as a deviation from the traditional 3 P's of masculinity: protection, provision, and procreation. Cultural context. In many cultural contexts, showing weakness or being feeble is often discouraged in men, as it should be, with phrases like "man up" used to compel men to show strength. And that's what men is all you're supposed to be about, is strength. Now, we're weak at this point in time, but as the Lord said, as Apostle Paul said, even when we're weak, we're strong. So we good. It says, and we seem weak. We're not really weak. We just seem weak. All right. But anyway, as I was saying, while submissive versus weak, while a man might choose to be submissive or flexible, which is different, being submissive doesn't always equate to being weak, because you are to submit to a higher power, all right, to, someone that's over you, in a sense. That don't mean just let them bully you and walk all over you, but there are orders you have to follow. So submission doesn't always equal weakness, all right? But it says, while a man might choose to be submissive or flexible, a tactical choice, that is different from weakness. Indeed it is, which is a lack of capacity to act, meaning when you're submitting, that doesn't always mean you're weak, especially if you're choosing to submit. But if you don't have a choice, like, you couldn't do shit any damn way, then therefore you lack the strength, making you weak. And a lot of you people will be weak in that day. The scriptures say, if you faint in a day of adversity, your strength is small. And a lot of you, and I'm talking to our people now, because fuck the heathen, I'm talking to our people, you're going to faint in the time of adversity that we're coming into. All hell breaking loose, the hour of temptation, you all are going to faint. And it's going to prove that you all lack strength. But us, we won't lack strength in that day. As the Lord said, as long as we keep his patience all the way into the end, we're going to be delivered from all these said perils, from all hell breaking loose. Even in death, that's deliverance. From the hour of temptation, we will be delivered from all these troubles. All right? Doesn't mean we're not going to be tried, but we will be delivered out of it. Unlike you all, you're going to suffer here. It says, sometimes what the world considers gentleness or a soft side in men is mistaken for weakness. But this is actually seen as a form of true strength or emotional intelligence, which, listen, man. The Lord said, live peaceably with all men. A nice answer, a soft answer turneth away wrath. You shouldn't just be walking around this bitch like, the niggas who walk around like that are really the weak ass niggas. And I mean weak emotionally, mentally, and even physically at times. Sometimes you have them big brawlicky niggas walking around. They always, barking. I'll fold your bitch ass. Just being honest, man. You know what I'm saying? It be the niggas like that are really weak as fuck. And in that day, physical strength won't make you strong, truly. You could be super strong. You could have all the combat skills in the world. But in that day, that shit won't matter. As the scriptures say, all right, even the feeble among the elect will be as King David in that day. So that physical strength won't matter. Only thing that will matter is if you have the words of the Lord of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai residing within you. Because as Yahweh Shai is the word, we are imploring, we are striving to be like unto Yahweh Shai. So we are also striving to be the word. Just as Yahweh Shai is the word, we are striving to be the word. And honestly, I say it all the time, brothers say it all the time, especially Apostle Har. Esau could take away the Bible today. delete all the, he could, completely cut off the apps from off the phone, the Bible apps, all the translations. He could take the physical books and burn it like he did in that one Fire movie with Michael B. Jordan. I forgot what it's called, but if brothers know, you can put in the comments. Great movie. You could do all that shit. All right? But at the end of the day, the word is already within us at this point. We don't need what you call it. And I'm trying to think of a breakdown. Let me think of one real quick. I say this, we don't need certain breakdowns to prove that you're Esau Edom, nigga. Like, what I'm trying to say is, you take these books away from us, we still know you Esau Edom. We still know you're latter end. All right? We know the prophecies that you're trying to stop from happening, and we know what you're going to try to bring forth. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know the things that are essential, that are needful for salvation. So you could take all these things away, but we've already obtained the strength of our salvation. The Lord has already given us the strength of our salvation. So you could take the book away. We have everything we need already. You know what I mean? We already have everything that we need. Right? If you understand. I know I said a lot, but if you understand. Right? So let me go here. Everything's still good. Call a yo, but shimmy out shot. So I'm going to get into some precepts. All right, so we're going to first start off with Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Matter of fact, why not? I'm in a Message translation lately. Let's do it. So this is Jeremiah 30 and 7 or 5. Salakia. Oh, let me type it out. The hell is this? Jeremiah 5 in the MSG. Jeremiah 30 and 5 in the MSG. Salakia. Cries of panic are being heard. The peace has been shattered. Ask around. Look around. Can men bear babies? He's like, can men bear babies? Because this is what he saw. And obviously, what is the answer to the question? Can men bear babies? No, a man can't bear a child. So he said, so if men can't bear babies, so why do I see all these he-men, meaning these mighty men, these strong men, these men of great renowned strength, so-called? And I say so-called because as the scriptures say, let's go here, and to Ecclesiastes 9 and 16, then said I, wisdom is better than strength. Nevertheless, the poor man's wisdom is despised, and his words are not heard. So wisdom is better than strength. So that's why I say your so-called strength, these so-called men of renowned strength, so-called, supposedly, as Elder Isaiah would say, allegedly, right? Allegedly, these niggas that are so-called, of renowned strength, allegedly, That ain't to say brothers in the truth ain't strong. We strong. Hey, most brothers, we train, work out, whether you lifting, calisthenics, getting into martial arts. So it ain't to say brothers ain't strong. You know what I'm saying? You run up on a brother 9 times out of 10, you probably gonna get your ass whooped. Let's be honest, you probably gonna get your ass whooped. I'm not gonna lie, you probably gonna get your ass whooped. and we ain't in the time of Yahweh Shai, where you know, a nigga come up and maybe spit on you or something, and then the nigga, we ain't in that time, nigga. You probably gonna get your ass whooped. And we're not carnal men, but at the end of the day, we are still men. You gonna get your ass whooped. We just being honest, man. So it ain't to say brothers ain't strong physically. Most of us are. Most of us are agile, athletic, know the martial arts and stuff, you know? You know what I mean? But we're not carnal men. We're spiritual men. But nigga, if you trying to get carnal and we don't have a choice, you probably gonna get your ass whooped. And like I said, it matters who the Lord favors that day. So if a brother even ain't got it, you still probably gonna get your ass whooped because the Lord favors that brother, man. Even the weak, even the feeble among them shall be as King David. I quoted that earlier. All right, but anyway, wisdom is better than strength. So you men who are allegedly of renowned strength of this world, you don't have no wisdom. So you really don't have no strength. You can't deliver yourself out of these situations. That's why Isaiah 33:6 says, in the strength of salvation, because we have obtained the water Yahweh Shemel Shai, the strength of our salvation. So we have the true strength. What is the strength of salvation? Wisdom. What is the only way to obtain wisdom? Fearing Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. That's why I said it's in the fear of the Lord is his treasure. Right? So we have the true strength. That's why the Lord said even when we're weak, we're strong. We have the true strength. You don't have the wisdom. So you're going to bug out in that day. But we won't, Lord willing. So you strong people, allegedly, right? So it says, ask around, look around, can men bear babies? So why do I see all these he-men holding their bellies like women in labor? And in that day, Salaki in advance for being so vulgar, you're going to have these big, strong, muscular ass men who know martial arts and all that stuff. These niggas going to be getting popped in the backside in that day. I'm so serious. You're going to see a lot of crazy shit in that day. These men are going to, these mighty men, I mean, niggas who really could do that to you, they're going to be getting popped in the backside in that day. The Lord's about to fucking humble these niggas, man. Yeah, they're going to be getting popped in the backside. If you don't get what I'm saying, they're going to get raped. All right, in that day. Their British Petroleum is going to get took by somebody probably way more feeble than they are. Humbling, mass humbling is coming, man. And that's going to be mercy. You're going to have men and women getting raped to death, and that'll be mercy from the Lord at the end of the day. Y'all don't get it, man, but you will. So niggas leaned over and feeble, you know, in a not a feeble, but a fetal position, just crouched over, wailing like women. All right, it says faces contorted, pale as death, you know, with these astonished looks on their face, scared looks of fear. They're going to be very fearful in that day. The blackest of days, no day like it ever, a time of deep trouble for Jacob, but he'll come out of it alive. And he that will come out of it alive will be the elect. So we will be preserved as a nation because the Lord has set aside a remnant that will be saved, as Isaiah the 1st chapter gets into, and as Romans the 9th chapter goes into. All right, so there you go. Well, let's go to Isaiah the 31st chapter, read some of that. All right, just to show you something, because a lot of you people will go down to Egypt for help, but Egypt is just men. And this is talking about America. Isaiah 31:1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity. So if you're in the house of evildoers and you work iniquity, which Esau Edom is helping that. Listen, it doesn't matter how strong you are in that day, you're still going to fall. All right, it says, now the Egyptians are men and not God, and the horse is flesh and not spirit. When the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down to the ground. Shall fall down, and they all shall fail together. Please forgive me, I'm jumping the gun. Point is, man, the Egyptians, these Americans, their power is just men. It's just men. All of it's going to come to naught. If it's not of the Heavenly Father, it all will come to naught. Scriptures say that, man. I actually quoted. That was me just quoting the scripture in spirit. I didn't even realize. The scriptures say, if something be of men and not of God, it shall fall. Roughly paraphrasing. So if it's not of the Heavenly Father, but it's of men, all of it's going to come to naught. All of it's going to come to naught. All right? All of it. So the mighty men will fall in this day. All right? And you have been made feminized. You're being feminized today. And we're seeing that right now. Well, I'll get this first. Jeremiah 31:22. How long wilt thou go about, O thou backsliding daughter? For the Lord hath created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. Just by that alone, meaning a woman going to go around the order of a man, just by that alone, men have naturally been feminized. Just don't even implement that Esau is literally targeting the testosterone today, right? And the estrogen of women today. Just leave that part out. Just this alone automatically feminizes men and weakens men. All right, and a man that is weak mentally, he's weak physically. A man that is weak mentally, he's also weak physically, man. Because mental strength is greater than physical strength. I don't care what nobody say. And spiritual strength trumps all. All right? Through spiritual strength, you get everything. The mental, the emotional, the physical. You get everything through spiritual strength. All right? Because everything comes from on high. From a divine place, which is from Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Chakwadash. All right? So this alone shows you men are feminized. But when you go here to Jeremiah, let's go to 50 first. And we're going to go to 43. Just jump down here to the point. I don't want that here. We'll jump straight to the nitty gritty. Jeremiah 50, and we'll start at 41. And now watch this people pouring out of the north, hordes of people, a mob of kings stirred up from far off places, flourishing deadly weapons. Barbarians they are, cruel and pitiless, roaring and relentless like ocean breakers. They come riding fierce stallions in battle formation, ready to fight you. Daughter Babylon, Babylon's king, here's them coming. This is supposed to be the top man in Babylon, the face of America, the leader. And you're seeing Trump wailing like a woman. It says he goes white as a ghost, meaning he's scared. He's frightened. Don't know what to do. Limp as a dish rag. Terror-stricken. He doubles up in pain, helpless to fight, like a woman giving birth to a baby. And that's just like what it was saying in Jeremiah 30. Fetal positions. You men are being waxing weak, man. You're going to be put in a mournful estate. You're going to be feminized. And as we saw, being weak and feeble is not a masculine trait. If you're weak and feeble, you won't be saved. And it all starts spiritually. It all starts in the Raha, or the La'ab. That's where everything begins. All right? And if you're weak there, you're done. You're done. Now I want to go to 51 and 30. See what it's going to give me here. See what's going to give me here, man. Let's see. Oh, let's see. What's going to give me here? Yeah, I don't really like this one in this translation. Let me see what it say again over here in the KJ. Give me 1 second. Yeah, this is better. All right, so Jeremiah 51:30, back in the regular translation, KJV. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holes. And if you haven't seen this, a lot of videos coming out of soldiers saying, "Oh, I'm not going," or ex-military men, "Don't send your babies over there." Everybody saying we're going to revolt against this, because they got a draft coming up. And they just raised the military enlistment age. All right, they raised the maximum age limit from 35 or 34. It was from 34 or something to 42 or something like that. So, yeah, just made a lesson on that yesterday, actually. But, yeah, man, it's getting crazy. It says, they became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. So they have become as women. You have been feminized. You have been feminized. And over here it says, they hide out in ruins and caves, cowards who've given up without a fight, exposed as cowering crybabies. So being a cowering crybaby is equivalent to being a woman, as you see over here. So you have waxed weak and feeble. You have been feminized. That's the facts, man. Don't get mad at us, man. We just the messengers. All right. Don't hate us. Don't hate the player. Hate the fucking game. Let's jump over to 2nd Esdras 15 and 18. And it reads, I want to just jump straight to the point. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. You're going to be afraid in that day. When it's the lack of bread, when it's great tribulation, mass destruction, you're going to be afraid. You have been feminized. But you know who won't be afraid, which that's not to say we won't be in fear, because I told you about that vision I had a few weeks ago. I was afraid, but I wasn't like afraid like, someone who doesn't have the truth would be. It was just the things that were happening around me were like, oh shit. It was a bunch of oh shit moments. Oh shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was still stable-minded. You people are going to be so afraid you're going to go mad, meaning you're going to bug the fuck out. And that's what it means when you get in here. That's why you're going to have people eating each other. You're going to be so afraid you're going to start eating each other, just going around graping everybody, just doing all manner of evil out of fear. So men are going to be afraid. Young wax, feeble. That's what's going to happen. When you go over to 2nd Esdras 16, let me see. Second Esdras 16 and start at 25. The trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall be desolate of men. So there's going to be very few men left, and that's going to be a fearful thing for men. How? Well, it's going to explain that to you. So that one man shall desire to see another and to hear his voice. All right, so men are going to be afraid in that day. They're going to be seeking out to hear another man's voice. It says, for a city there shall be 10 left. So there's going to be like damn near 10 men left in the city. Does that mean literally? No, it just means it's going to be a very, men are going to be scarce, especially men of the Lord. But men in general will be scarce in that day. All right. And we're going to get into a little bit why. But it says, for of a city there shall be 10 left, and 2 of the field, which shall hide themselves in the thick groves and in the clefts of rocks. So niggas are going to be hiding out in that day. They're going to be afraid to even come out. You have been feminized. You men will be waxing weak and afraid. All you niggas who talk that big talk now. You got so many niggas. Oh, for all hell breaks loose, I'll do this. I'll do that. Nigga, you don't know what the fuck you gonna do when all hell break loose, man. Niggas talk a big fuck you gonna do, man. When you in that fire, what the fuck you gonna do? I'll just do this. I'll just do that. You don't know how the fuck you gonna react. Nigga, are you the Heavenly Father? Are you Yahweh Shai? You don't know how the hell you're gonna act in that day. Yes, you could say you can act any type of way right now when shit is business as usual, but when shit's not business as usual, when shit getting a little hectic, you don't know what you're gonna do. You don't know how you're gonna operate, correct? You don't know any of that. So it's a very stupid thing it's a stupid thing to say and to believe in. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Nigga, you don't know what the fuck you finna do. You don't know. Alright? You don't know. So anyway, let's go back to it. Let's scroll down to show you a little bit of why it's gonna be very few men left. Alright? Start at 32. And the earth shall be laid waste, and the fields thereof shall wax old, and her ways and all her paths shall grow full of thorns, because no man shall travail therethrough. The virgin shall mourn having no bridegroom. Let's keep going. The women shall mourn having no husbands. Their daughters shall mourn having no helpers. Why? Well, it's going to tell you. In the wars shall their bridegrooms be destroyed, and their husbands shall perish of famine. Hear now these things, and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. All right? And we are receiving this thing. And listen, man. It's going to be very few men left because all these niggas going to go die in war. They're either going to get drafted and sent off the war, or they're going to die in the civil wars. All right? The civil wars. Right? They're going to die in that. They're going to go out looking for food and never going to come back. And as Isaiah 3 goes into it, because this is a precept for Isaiah 3, you know, these women are just going to be huddled around in the ground like ravished women because they have no man to fend for them because all the men have been feminized and put to death. And there will be very few men left in that day. So if it's going to be very few men left in that day, God damn it, you bet your ass it's going to be a super duper scarcity of men of the Lord. All right? Because though it's thousands of us, it's still that's very small in accordance to billions. All right? Very small. Thousands and billions, that's a whole nother, they're in two separate realms, man. All right? So this is why there will be so few men. All right, and it says, behold, the word of the Lord shall receive it. See, since we receiving this, we're going to be good. But you niggas who don't want to receive, you despise the word. Well, as Proverbs 13 and 13 say, you're going to be destroyed. How about that? Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. So pretty soon these things will come. These things will come, and we're in the birth pains as it gets into right here. We're just in the birth pains. All right. Let me click on this. Go back over here to the notes. So let's go to Zephaniah 1 and 14. We're about to close this bad boy off. Need to go handle some business. But we got to handle this business first. This is more important business. This is Zephaniah 1 and 14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hasteth greatly. Though it tarry, wait for it, it shall surely come. It will not tarry. Even the voice of the day of the Lord, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So you're going to be made extremely weak in that day. You mighty men, you strong men, you powerful men, you he-men. Allegedly. You're going to mourn bitterly in that day. Welcome to the house of mourning, niggas. Because we been in this motherfucker. Welcome. We welcome you with open arms as we go to the house of rejoicing. Let's swap places. And that's what's going to happen soon by way of force. We going to be the real mighty men in that day because we are the real mighty men. Lord willing, we have that number. That's why the Lord said in Job 5, Proverbs 1, we're going to laugh at you niggas. We're going to laugh at your calamity. We're going to mock when your fear coming. We're going to laugh at famine. We're going to laugh at it. You can't go 2 hours without eating, nigga. We're going to laugh, man. Because, nigga, you niggas really can't go 2 hours without eating. You can't even go an hour without eating. How long you been fasting? I've been fasting about 24, 25 hours. What? They never think to do that type of shit. What? So imagine when when all hell first breaks loose and the nigga still got food in the pantry, but because he know he can't get more, just think about how a nigga gonna panic in that day. That shit gonna be crazy. Listen, man, we just gonna wait on the Lord. The Lord gonna provide. Look what he did for Elijah when he was on that great journey. That 2 days journey or something where he had them birds. I don't know if it was a raven, whatever it was, he had them birds bring him food. All right? Daniel, when he was in the lion's den, he took the prophet, I believe it was the prophet Habakkuk, and he took him by the fro. The angel came down and took him by the fro and and brought Daniel food in the lion's den. I believe it was the prophet Habakkuk. I could be wrong. It's one of them prophets, But yeah. So you think about that, man. So we're going to be provided for, well taken care of in that day. Isaiah 65 and 13, starting at really around 8 or 9, but 13 is the point, 13 and 14. All right, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. My servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. We're going to be good. What about y'all? We was in the wilderness. Who provided? The Lord. Hell, we was in the wilderness getting taken care of so well by the Lord, getting treated so well by the Lord that it was as even if our garments hadn't been worn. It looked like our garments didn't get worn after the 40 years, man. After that 40-year period, it was like our garments hadn't even been worn. It was like we still had new garments. And it had been 40 years. Think about that, man. We ain't even aged. None on us aged. We was getting attacked from all these heathens, especially Esau. We was still good. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers, and I will bring distress upon men. And you're gonna faint. This is gonna make you men faint. That they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. A lot of you niggas think this shit is a game until it's not. All right, the joke will be on you all in that day. All right, everything is funny in the game until it's not. But don't worry, we're gonna laugh at you too. The Lord gonna laugh at you too. The Lord is the master of keeping that same energy, and He gonna tell you niggas keep that same energy. All right, now I want to end with this scripture here, Revelation 9 and 6, and I'm gonna get this in the MSG as well. Now, this is talking about World War I. All right. But this will also, scriptures written aforetime, written for our learning. So scriptures can be used and stated for multiple scenarios, multiple prophecies. And this is one of those, because in the time of Jacob's trouble, this will take place. And in those days shall men seek death, because it's going to get so bad. You're going to go through so much hell in that day. Men are going to seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death, man, those death angels shall flee from them. The Lord gonna be like, no. Your ass gonna stay in that body and suffer, man. You gonna have a fucking hyena come tear a chunk of your fucking ass off. And and you still gonna live. But this shit gonna be crazy, man. It's gonna be crazy, my boy. Hey, everybody think they're all strong and mighty until adversity comes. Yeah. Well, as Apostle Gabar always say, what words won't teach, adversity will. And all of you are going to faint in the day of adversity. And it's going to show that your strength is truly small. So I want to read this as let's read this in the MSG. It's how bad it's going to get, man. Trying to warn y'all, but you know, oh well, die. Don't give a fuck. All right, so I'm going to start right here. When this happens, people are going to prefer death to torture. So people are going to rather die than just be tortured. Look for ways to kill themselves. They're going to have failed suicide attempts. Crazy word. But they won't find a way. Death will have gone into hiding. You're going to have to just suffer. You're going to just be suffering. Man, call Allah Yahweh Shemi Awashai. Hey, man, we say the curses every day, man. And if you don't, your ass should be. Yahweh Ba'ashemi Awashai Shalak Rayam Wa Inashim Wa Abadyum Wa Haragyum Wa Mashapatyum Or Ko Adawamyum Wa Gawayum Wa Ayab Yamnawa. Babu Kasha, Babu Kasha, Babu Kasha. Yahweh Ba'ashemi Awashai Tawab the water Aman. All right, Ayab Yamnawa. Ayab is enemies or enemy. All right, enemy. Ayab is enemy. Ayab Yam is enemies. Ayab Yam Nawa is our enemies. Our enemies consist of, as we stated, Adawamyum, the Edomites, Gawayim, the heathens, or the Gentiles, whatever you want to say, and 2/3. That last Ayab Yam Nawa was for the 2/3. The 2/3 of our people. That was what that last Ayab, that's what that one was for. Talked about the Edomites, talked about the heathens. That Ayab Yam Nawa is to you 2/3, man. So yeah, when we put them curses up, it's going on our own people too. You can't curse your people. Well, we doing it. We doing it. And the prophets did it. Elisha, he called 2 she-bears on them bitch-ass kids who was talking about his bald head. Lord ain't frown upon him for that. King David cursed our people. He was sick of these. He was sick of our people, man. He cursed them. Ezekiel, or was it Jeremiah? I'm sure Ezekiel did it too, but Jeremiah cursed our people. He's sick of you niggas, man. Hell, Elijah cursed our people. He was calling fire out of heaven to fucking zap Baal, believers of Baal. All right? Yahweh Shai cursed our people. Read Matthew 23. So ain't nothing wrong with cursing our people, because you motherfuckers deserve it. You wicked evildoers, man. Hell, the Lord said don't even lift up a prayer for these people. So if you ain't lifting up a prayer for these people, what you probably doing? You're probably cursing their ass. So anyway, I do hope and pray that this is edifying to the elect. All right, I want to close giving all praise, honor, and glory to our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who have taught us all this truth in the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And until next time, Abba Babal, Kwam Yasharala, Gadol Abatim, La Babal Hagadol, Yahweh Mahar, Wa Habatham. And until next time, I would like to say to you all, Shalom. Keep pushing. We almost there.